What's up, Vankers?
Bonjour, Vankers! We are here in Montreal with the man, the myth, the Canadian king,
The F1 mayor of Montreal.
the F1 mayor, the king of the streets and the airwaves. We have WDC champion Jacques Villeneuve on the pod today.
Hello, everyone. It's thanks for the welcome. That was quite nice.
Yeah. Well, we thought we'd talk about your life in a different way, and use. We have a little tournament here.
That's right.
You're there, and we thought instead of just interviewing about your life, we kind of talk about champions and what it means to be a champion, and maybe not all champions are created equal. I mean, they're all great, but they can't all be equally great. And talk about what it means to be a champion and all that good
and
stuff.
all that jazz. And we know you're a man with strong opinions,
Yes.
which is what we love about you. Listen, some other people might not love it. We love it.
We
and
love
I think
it.
the real fans recognize there's too much safe, like, well, everyone's amazing and everyone's good. No.
Yeah, but you only have champions on the board, so it should be quite easy.
We've got champions on the board, but some maybe are more champion than other champions. So we're curious what your thoughts are about that. So we're gonna go through this board. We'll talk to you about your life, and we'll talk about the larger sport at large. But we're gonna start in this top right corner. We've got our first matchup. We've got Lewis Hamilton versus Jody Scheckter.
Good one, yes. And Scheckter was my dad's teammate as well at Ferrari, so that was quite important. And obviously, I grew up watching it from close. But that's not a very difficult battle.
Right.
If you take Hamilton, he's a clear winner because Scheckter won his championship and then just collapsed, disappeared. Once he got his championship, he didn't enjoy racing anymore. Didn't have the speed anymore. So it really happened suddenly, which was very, very strange. And he retired halfway through the following season as well.
Well, Ferrari took a bit of a nosedive as
yes, Ferrari took a nosedive the year after the car because they didn't. The following year, which was 1980, they didn't work on that car. They were already focusing on 81, which was going to be the first turbo car. So they put that car aside. But he didn't have the energy to outdo himself the same way as when he had to go for a championship, where my dad was still pushing the envelope, trying to get the most results. And that's why he cannot beat Lewis, because Lewis won with McLaren, then made the choice of going to a team that was not winning, which was Mercedes at the time, and stuck with it. Then obviously there were all the golden years where Mercedes was above the rest and there were easy wins, but he still kept at it when it was difficult. So at that point, you would say a clear winner.
So this is a theme we'll see. Well, there are guys that win a bunch, and then there are guys that will win one and then just they completely, whether it's they lose the motivation or they have to move teams or their team fault.
But hold on. You also have guys that will push as hard as they can, whether there's a win or not at hand.
Right.
And there are drivers that it doesn't matter what the stakes are, even for an 8th place, they will fight as hard as when they were fighting for a championship.
Right.
And you see that.
Right. What do you think? I think, the mentality of that, because, even someone like, we'll get to him later in this round, but like a James Hunt who won that championship and was kind of like the dog who finally caught the fire truck. And then after that was kind of like, what's the purpose of my life? Do you feel like for some of these, it's like climbing to the top of Everest. Some guys want to stay there forever, and some guys are like, I reached the top and I'm okay not living there. Do you feel like there's just like a difference of mentality with these different?
And some guys want to climb the other mountain and the next one and the next one, because they always want to perform. And so when you take it to racing, some drivers are pure passionates about the racing, about competing, about outdoing themselves, about always getting better, beating the opposition. And some others get into the sport because it's jet set.
Yeah,
that happens.
Sure.
It's probably not the best of reasons, but it works as well. And some others just want to show that they can win. But the minute they've won, they realize they're not actually passionate about racing. They don't actually enjoy it that much, so they just move on.
Okay, before we move on from Scheckter,
So should we write it, or
no, we're gonna
let's move him?
move it.
There's a little.
It's gonna don't rip Hamilton. Be very careful.
No,
You're gonna
I'm
make
about to
You're gonna people very angry if you rip Hamilton. He's already gone through enough this year.
Here we
So
go.
Hamilton moves on.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's already
perfect.
up here.
So Jody
Here we
Scheckter,
go.
79. I mean, your dad played a huge role in being unselfish, especially in Italy. He could have overtaken, and he played the team game. I mean, what is his unselfishness during that year mean to you?
No, it's not unselfishness. He was a very selfish driver. You have to be if you want to be a champion, but there were clear rules. And he always abided by those rules. In racing terms, it was a clear-cut way of moving forward as a competitor. That's the rules. That's what we've decided. That's what I stick by, and that's what my teammate would do as well. That was his attitude, and that was working all the way to then the Pironi in '82, where it just switched at the wrong race.
Right. And we'll okay, but you say that those are the rules, but you see like in Multi 21 or sort of in Bach, was it what was it, the Hungary last year when Lando, there was like, should they give the place back? Should they live it? It feels like
not everyone always follows.
Not
the
everyone
rules.
always
No,
follows
everyone
the rules.
everyone has a different view or a different respect towards each other. Everyone has a different game plan, and it's something you have to go to bed with at night.
Yes.
And everyone is made different with how you should proceed, and how how basically you approach competition. Is it a die for all? Is it at all cost, and it doesn't matter if I only make enemies, or are you still a very strong, straight human being that will stick and abide by what you believe are the correct, the gentleman way of approaching it? And everyone is made differently in that respect, but there's less and less of that in the modern era, because that's not how they are brought up through the racing ranks.
Right.
Well, we'll get into some more of that mentality in those guys. Let's move on to our next matchup here. We have Alonso versus Ascari.
Ooh, it's hard because I don't know enough about Ascari, just what we've read, and it's such a different era.
Yeah.
And I would pick Alonso because he never gives up. It doesn't matter which team, doesn't matter the situation, how difficult it is, or his age. He's always giving it 100%. You always have the impression that he's getting more out of the car than he should. When he won the championships, he was mega. Then his years at Ferrari, he outdrove that car. They almost won a couple of championships, not because of the team, not because of the car, but because he drove it in a special way. So that kind of hunger, that kind of passion has to be rewarded.
Okay.
All right, I like it.
But Ascari, one of the he's actually one of the many guys on this list that was the son of a late champion. He had he watched him and his father both died at the same age, 36, in a race.
That's crazy when
wild,
when it happens like. But remember, those years were lethal.
Yeah.
You respected the drivers that were quick and survived because there weren't many. They got maybe until the 80s. They got in the car every time thinking, well, that might be our last day. So they were a little group, and we're talking before about being gentlemen or not.
Yeah,
I think that helped drivers to be more respectful towards each other because they were playing with their lives as well.
Yeah, definitely. Our next matchup, we have Prost and Hunt. This is a fun one. I mean, very different styles. Hunt
is the romanticism.
Yeah.
But ultimately, if you look at his career, he was never at the level of the other champions. He was never at the same speed of Lauda either.
Yeah.
And he won that championship because Lauda missed 2 or 3 races when he had his big accident.
Yes.
And after that, he could never repeat. So he was a super fast driver, very erratic. So it would be win or lose. There were a lot of points lost. So it wasn't the same professional approach as a Lauda and ultimately as a Prost.
Right.
Prost built his career, was always competitive, worked with the team, made it better, even helped Senna come to McLaren so he could have a strong teammate to move forward. And he relished that competition, and that made him better. So really one of the greats. Where Hunt, it was all splash, it was image, it was party, it was women and drinks, and it was different days of of F1, and he got his championship, and it was an important one because it was. If it had been in the modern days, it would be extremely jet set. It was the jet set championship of back then, but a very romantic championship.
Where do you rank Hunt in terms of hair? Because I know you are an all-timer in terms of hairstyle.
Champions. You're putting Hunt in process.
No, backseas. Prost is out first round.
Wow, yeah.
No,
that was the romanticism there, racing going. Yeah.
So you're just thinking about that flowing hair.
Okay, all right. This is probably my favorite matchup ever.
Well, yeah. He had a lot of hair, didn't he?
No, but he had like flowing blonde hair. You had the bleach.
Well,
blonde.
his was natural.
Yeah,
very different.
Yeah, but you were very of the. You were both of the era.
So
in
what
terms of your
influenced
hairstyles.
the bleach? Was it Eminem?
It was 97. I had just watched the movie Trainspotting. Oh, that looks cool. So I just stood up, went to my hairdresser, and said, "Hey, let's do that."
Wow.
And I didn't really think about what the effect would be. I just thought, that'd be fun. Let's do it.
I hope that's the only thing you took from that movie was the hair.
Oh, yeah. I was. The funny thing is, after going blonde, I was randomly tested every race weekend for doping.
Wow.
Yeah, it's a random test. Okay, sure, whatever.
Oh, it was the 90s, man. It was the 90s.
Yeah.
It was. I mean,
Kurt Cobain.
yeah, some 41.
No, but it's funny because then a lot of people started doing it as well in sports and racing.
Yeah.
It started a trend, so that I felt cool about that.
Yeah. So this is my favorite matchup. I'm wondering what you're going to do here. We got Vettel and
No, wait, hold on. Are we going?
Oh, wait.
We're gonna do the top.
No, we should. No, we have to finish.
No, we're gonna do each corner. So
you want to finish the corner?
We're gonna finish the corner. So we'll do Prost versus Graham Hill. So we've asked you for 4 drivers who are not on the 1975 on. We've added a few ourselves, but you added Graham Hill, Fangio, Stewart, and Fittipaldi. We got Graham Hill versus Prost. Why did you pick Graham Hill to be on this list?
Well, he did win a bunch of F1 races, and he was it wasn't the ultimate speed. He worked with the car to get to that level. So he was a worker at getting his speed, and basically got into F1 because he was a mechanic at Lotus. And instead of payment, sometime he would be given a race, and then if I remember well, because maybe I'm inventing all this, but I remember getting interested in that story. Then he built his own team, but also he won the Indy 500.
Right.
Yeah. Well,
so that
and
we know that's very
that adds to the pot.
Yeah. Has to.
So that's why it makes it very, very difficult. In between these two, I would almost be ready to throw the dice, and because if you just think F1 term, Prost as the edge, but then you add the Indy 500 to it,
and Le Mans,
and and Le Mans.
Wait, and I have to confront you about this. You're so close to the Triple Crown. You come in second in 2008.
I know, horrible. That was a horrible second place finish.
Oh.
And then you never try it again. You go. You know what? That's what happened. You were so close. You probably could have gotten it.
Oh, I was wanting to carry on, but you also need the opportunity. But I was racing with Peugeot at the time, and they decided I wasn't made for endurance racing. So I received an email saying, "Oh, by the way, the new guys starting running the team and the whole project. Never met the guys, and sent an email. Oh, okay, you stay home now. So okay,
they
thanks."
Told you over email?
Yeah.
By the way, the Triple Crown.
Never met the guy. Yeah, no.
Wow.
Trash.
Exactly.
That wouldn't be good for Peugeot to have a Triple Crown winner.
It's crazy.
Yeah, but sometimes politics can involve. A new guy gets involved in running the team, running the whole racing program.
Yeah.
So they want to remove everything that was there in place and put their own people in place. They want to build their own victory, and the following year, it's my car, the one I was in, that ended up winning. So it was the car to be in to win. So, but also we should have won in that year, and it's a race we managed to lose. Sometimes you finish second, and okay, that was a great race.
Right.
You fought hard for it, but that was a race that we should have won. It was in our pocket. We managed to lose it, so that was very, very, very frustrating. We were a lot quicker than the Audi of Christensen. But the decision was made to slow down to save the engine, and that I guess I was the only one of the whole team not smiling on the podium, so that might have had an effect of my retirement from that team. Yeah.
So you would have rathered it blown up, and
because you work on a championship, you take seconds.
Yeah.
Le Mans, who cares about
Right,
finishing second?
right.
It's me. It's like the Indy 500. You finish
Yeah.
second, oh, big deal. It's meaningless.
Yeah.
Unless it's part of the championship, you need the points. But as a race itself, it's a championship unto itself.
Yes.
It's a win or nothing.
Yeah.
Well, let's talk. I want to talk briefly about. We were talking about the Indy 500, your Indy 500 win, because you were down 2 laps at that 500 off of a penalty. Can you when you were able? I mean, obviously the 500 has an ability to kind of throw. It's just can be crazy, and you never know who's really going to win. You can come from the back, but when you're down 2 laps, you thinking well, this is over. You always have to
Well, that was never our attitude, and it's not just that we were down 2 laps. 2 laps were we had completed them, but then they were removed from our tally.
Right.
So we went from first on the board or at the point to last, okay, or last of the guys that were still running.
Right.
But the team came on the race and say, okay, come on, it's still a long race. We never know what happens. We just gotta go for it for now. We can't wait for the last 20 laps to really speed or last 50 laps like you normally do at Indy. We have to be on it from now. So we were very good with fueling, so we could do an extra 3, 4, 5 laps. So, very good on tires, very good on all that. So that allowed us to cash maybe some good breaks with safety cars that came at the right time, overtook the leader on the race, then a safety car, so joined the back of the pack and so on. But we also had to be quick and do some crazy moves, which made it fun. And then on the last restart, when I was second, I thought, okay, another season I finished second, that's not bad. And luckily I managed to have the leader crack under pressure, and he made a mess of his restart and then got disqualified. But I couldn't have beaten him on speed.
Vankers, this episode is brought to you by BetMGM. Come see what's new at BetMGM. Score bigger when you win with boost tokens, odd boost tokens, and more. Even if your bet doesn't hit, we've got you covered with no sweat tokens. Sign up with BetMGM today and you'll have access to countless betting options, including new look, same game parlays, teasers, live bets, and so much more. Take advantage of these offerings and be sure to use the bonus code DADDY when signing up to receive up to $1,500 in bonus bets if your first bet loses. This is an exciting season. Oscar Piastri, Lando Norris, who's going to finish? Who's going to win each race? Where's Yuki Tsunoda going to wind up? You can bet on all this with BetMGM, so do it today. Use the bonus code DADDY when signing up, and again, receive up to $1,500 in bonus bets if your first bet loses. See you out there, Vegas.
Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Available in the U.S. Call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369 for New York. Call 1-800-327-5050 for Massachusetts. 21 and over only. Please gamble responsibly. Call 1-800-NEXT-STEP for Arizona. 1-800-BETS-OFF for Iowa. 1-800-981-0023 for Puerto Rico. First bet offer for new customers only. Subject to eligibility requirements. Bonus bets are non-withdrawable. In partnership with Kansas Crossing Casino and Hotel. See BetMGM.com for terms. U.S. promotional offers not available in New York, Nevada, Ontario, or Puerto Rico.
Before we decide between Hill and Prost, just speaking about Prost's nature, how do you rank these guys? How do you evaluate these guys in terms of the political side, the savvy side? Because I was reading Mansell's book, and he was just this guy was Machiavellian, right? The Prost, the political edge that he carried, and that was part of his toolkit.
Yes, but you could see it. Senna was as bad as Prost, except that you didn't see it. It's just different. Same thing. If you take Hamilton, he's extreme in that, but you don't see it. And then when he was teammate with Rosberg, it was obvious what Rosberg was doing.
Right.
So everybody started being angry at Rosberg, and he was so mean. Where Hamilton was doing even to a bigger level, but in a very discreet way. And this is the best. So
details, examples.
Yeah, little details. But when you want to win, and the person you're fighting is your teammate, you have to. It's part of the game. That doesn't mean you do anything that's overly nasty, but you have to play some game, put some pressure. Sometimes they're political in the round because you need to get a little edge.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Let's decide
Hill.
a winner.
I will go for Hill.
Hill.
Wow.
Yeah, the Triple Crown.
Yeah,
That's,
gotta go.
that was a tough one. I'm sorry for Prost.
That's
but
a big upset.
Yeah, sorry
for
about
all
that.
you.
It's not what I was expecting. Prost, and then gradually it moved towards Hill.
Okay, and we'll
the
go
Triple
back
Crown.
up to Alonso versus Hamilton here.
I will put Alonso because Hamilton has too many downs. Even though he's got all the championships, it's not the quantity of champions. If you look at every season, there's always been 2, 3, 4 races where he was completely disappearing. Then suddenly woke up again and started winning again. And too many of those championships were in a car that, like even Bottas would have won the championship if Hamilton had not been there. And that put him in a place where he became complacent.
Yeah.
and he forgot how hard he had to fight. And you can see it now. It's a big shock to him that actually, no, he has to fight as hard as he did in his first and second season. Because the first championship he had, amazing. He really fought hard for that. But after that, when the car became superior, he had too many easy years. And so he always had seasons where he was he always had seasons where he got a few races where he just, I don't know, disappeared, wasn't there anymore, and suddenly the light turned on again, and he was a killer again. And where Alonso is always there. So,
I'm more than happy for you to pick Alonso, and that's going to help.
I'm happy to upset you.
I'm happy. No, I love Alonso. I guess, but part of Alonso's problem was that there's part of this game is part of this game is the choosing the right team, making the right decision, and I mean, isn't that
he's been bad at that?
He's been bad at that. Hamilton's made the right choices at the right time.
Yeah, but at the same time, there was no way of knowing that Mercedes would have that engine that was so much above the rest. So that was a gamble.
Yeah,
that was a big gamble, and it worked out. Alonso got close twice to winning with Ferrari, like until the last race.
Yes, right.
That little difference would have made the world. So when they were teammates at McLaren, in the end he outdid Hamilton, even though it was Hamilton's first season. So he's not great at choosing his teams, and he's very good at making enemies, even within teams. But as a driver, he's always on it.
Game got to respect game a little bit, right? With him, yeah.
What are you going to say to the fans that go? But in 2007, he beat him on countback, and he on his rookie year they were teammates, and he beat him on countback.
But you also have to take into account that McLaren signed him, or Ron Dennis signed him, as a double world champion. Needed him for the sponsors and all that. Yeah. Then announced Hamilton. Okay, Hamilton is our champion. We don't like you, Fernando. Excuse me. So when the team boss unbalances internally the team like that, you have to fight back, and that's what happened. So Alonso was not in a fair field at that point, and he had to fight his own battle alone in the team.
I see,
and that actually destroyed the team. Ultimately,
yeah. Well, yeah, of course, with Spygate and everything. You were talking about like Hamilton having times where he's caught napping a little bit, and then the spark comes back up. A big question right now is him at Ferrari, whether this, that spark is still there, whether he can find it. What do you think?
We had a glimpse of it in China.
Yeah,
he got it on pole when the car shouldn't have been on pole, and then in the sprint race, and then carried that to a win. And there was another race where he got up, I can't remember where, but in general, you can see that when things go a little bit wrong, a little bit tough, he goes down. He has a real hard time to keep his head above the water. That's not a good sign. Mostly in a team like Ferrari. Ferrari is a tough team, and you need to be really strong to survive it. So he needs a helping hand to get his mojo back.
That was a question I want to get into when we talk about like Schumacher and Lauda and those guys. Where it's like, is a Ferrari Hamilton might have more championships than some of these guys, but is winning at Ferrari just worth more? Is that just count more than winning at some of these other?
Well, you have F1 and you have Ferrari.
Right.
Once you've won the championship, then if you can win one with Ferrari, then you're right. History. Yeah. Mostly for a driver like Hamilton, who's won seven? I can't even remember now how many seven championships.
Eight.
No, 7. Don't go there. That's another. We can.
Why are you carrying? I don't know. Why are you carrying water for Michael? I know
we can discuss that if you want. Actually, we will. It doesn't matter how many championships you win. If you can win one with Ferrari, it will be worth every other championship he's had, because the perception now is some of them were just way too easy at Mercedes.
Right. Yeah.
So how many real championships should he have? Maybe 3. That's same as Schumacher.
Right.
So many of those Ferrari championships were just, there's no opposition.
Right.
Yeah.
And also the contract within the team was you and your teammate is there to help you, which makes it different. And Hamilton does not have that inside Ferrari now.
Right.
So it's not the same situation as Schumacher had.
Right.
All right, let's keep going on this board because we got a lot of stuff to cover. Let's go.
I think we're going to see more upsets. I like this.
All right, now we'll leave the 8. So now we're going to go down. We got Vettel versus you, my friend.
Easy. I'll put myself up.
Yes!
Come on.
Yes.
Let's go.
Vettel never won an Indy 500.
Exactly.
And I want to say something. I know this is going to be controversial, but Vettel won 4, you won 1. That 4 sounds like a lot on paper, but do you discount when it's 4 on one team in one regulation? So it's like if you have the best car for one set, where it's like some guys win 2 or 3, but they're in different teams and they're in different eras and they're different cars, so that might be worth a little more than like you got Newey, you nail one set and you're able to beat Mark Webber.
In the modern era, it seems that the rules have made it that the team that wins will keep on winning,
right?
Because they've closed the box a little bit to innovation. Yes. The rules are very restrictive. So if a team has a little advantage, it's very hard for other teams to get to it. And that's a little bit what happened there with Vettel. He got into F1 and won with the Toro Rosso at the time, which was the Racing Bull team in Monza. Super impressive. Talent was there, super quick driver. And then there was the blown diffuser, which is when they were braking, the engine would start kicking hot air on the diffuser and giving tons of downforce. And he mastered that, and his teammates couldn't. It was a really strange way of driving, and he really mastered that and was unbeatable. And so he had a few years where he was really crazy on the track. He was very selfish because he didn't follow team orders. He didn't care. He knew he was protected by Helmut Marko. Right. And that... at least 2 of his 4 championships were won really difficult in a difficult way. He really had to fight hard for them last race, and they were very impressive. Right. But then somehow he started going down a little bit when Ricciardo arrived there, and when he wasn't winning anymore, instead of trying to figure a way to make the car maybe winning again, he was trying to overdrive and to overcompensate, and it just went downhill. Then he moved to Ferrari. And the same happened as Fernando. He drove really well, got close to winning the championship, but it collapsed at some point in the season. And after his years at Ferrari, just wasn't at that level anymore. Now you could say the same with me because I won, and then that was it.
well, we're gonna get to you. Well, we could get to you now. Yeah. I mean, so you win in '97, then you're out after '98. I mean.
At Williams.
At Williams. Now, that just seems like the fate of a lot of Williams drivers, like whether it's
Williams never kept their champions.
Yes.
Anyway, a lot of people talk, why did you go to BAR instead of staying at Williams? Well, Williams never keeps their champions, first of all. Secondly, I built BAR. It was my team. Right. I was financially invested in it. It was not that, I took a big contract. There were other options for more money, similar money. So that wasn't the case. But in a lot of people's mind and media, because it was kept hidden that it was my team, I'd sold my soul for money. And ultimately, that first season, brand new team, in a day where everything was very open with the regulations. There was a lot of testing. So it was hard to come in as a new team. Great. We still, oftentimes, when the car wasn't breaking down, finished 8th, which today was in the points. Yeah. And any new team that comes today, finished 10th once, everyone's, oh, wow, what an amazing success. And us, it was, oh, how disappointing, what a bunch of losers. Yeah. Following year we get points. The year after we get podiums. Right. So and today that team is Mercedes. Right. Yeah. It is the same team. There's still people in there that we employ that are at Mercedes now. James Vowles that runs Williams was a junior engineer that we took into BAR. Wow. So it wasn't a bad project. We did something really good there, but it became overly political.
What was James Vowles like back then?
Oh, he was a young engineer. I didn't talk to him yet. No.
He got you coffee.
No, he was. You know, I speak with him a lot because I'm doing work with Williams now, and as he said, I was one of the few people in there that knew what it took to win. Right. So my attitude was, you got to be mean and tough, and you got to go and win. We're not here to be a bunch of friends, and as he said, that was the right attitude. But a lot of us, with me, they didn't know about all that yet, so it was kind of a little bit shocking. But it was the way to try and push the team forward, and we did push the team forward.
I got to ask. What were your options after '98?
Well, when we were building the team, Adrian Newey called me and say, "Hey, don't do BR. Come with us at McLaren." Uh-huh. But then there would have been the next step of talking with Ron Dennis, and we didn't get along those days. We really didn't get along, so I'm not sure that would have worked out socially, politically inside the team. That would have been very difficult. And also, when I got to Williams, I took David Coulthard's seat
Yeah.
And that would have been the second time I would have taken his seat. I think I would have felt bad about that a bit. But ultimately, that that team won the championship.
Yeah.
And so,
but Coulthard said that Hakkinen was Dennis's guy, so you might have been.
Yeah, exactly.
There.
That was that would be like entering Red Bull now with Max there.
Yeah, right.
And it would have been the same thing at McLaren. So I had some doubts. And also, when he called me, I was having dinner with Craig Pollock, with whom I built the team at the time. So I couldn't speak to him. I said, listen, I can't speak to you now. And I hung up, and that was it. Had he called an hour earlier, I would have had a full-blown conversation about the subject, and things might have gone differently. But honestly, building your own team, Graham Hill tried it. My dad was wanting to do it a lot. McLaren was built by Bruce McLaren, who was racing. Brabham, same thing, when they were still an F1 team. It's something special, and ultimately, the team is super successful today. Too bad I'm not involved in it anymore. But that was one option. And then halfway through, I was about to sign with Flavio and Renault at the time. And at the last second, I stayed with my own team because Honda begged me to stay. And that was a mistake because they turned within a month.
Wow. Yeah. Well, you did have the vibe of like a team owner and driver because you had that full beard. And I was like, this is a man who's staying up late hours. He's not shaving, and he's just driving this car.
No, but you can't do two things at a time. So I did not focus at all on the team at that. You're driving, or you cannot wear too many hats. It's just too much, and you will make mistakes. And the focus was to be competitive, and it didn't matter. We were talking about before about like Alonso, he never gives up, and it didn't matter how bad the car was. I was always driving my heart out, taking as many risks as possible to just go that extra tenth of a second. And I thought that was quite important. So that's why I put myself ahead of Vettel.
Let's move.
And because I won the Indy 500. The Indy 500 makes the difference.
Vettel built B houses, and you built an F1 team.
That's right. All right. Next we have PK versus Brabham.
This is an interesting one.
This is an interesting one. Brabham built his own team.
Won in a car he designed.
Yep.
Or helped build. PK's won a bunch of ones. How many did he have? Three.
Yeah,
one with
in different teams as well.
One with Williams and one with Brabham, actually, later on. Two with Brabham. One or two with Brabham.
Two with Brabham.
Two with Brabham,
yeah,
one with Williams.
That's a tough one. Well, PK was a character.
Yeah.
I mean, whether you liked him or not, whether he was nice or not, you knew he was there. He was a presence that stood out. And he did win some tough championships because I remember watching them.
Yeah.
He tried Indy as well. He tried that. I think he had a big crash as well. And he won over time. It wasn't like three seasons or 4 seasons in a row with the same team.
Right.
Yeah. He often went to a team and it wasn't that competitive, and then he worked on it, built it, and then ended up winning. And he did that multiple times. So I would give him the edge.
Even over the guy who built his own team. You talked about building your own team and Brabham, and then you.
I know, but the problem is I know more about PK than I know about Brabham.
PK gets the
Brabham. I only know the results. Well, PK actually saw how he got them.
Right. Okay.
Because I was watching, so it's easy. Yeah. So that makes it a little bit easier.
PK gets the nod. All right.
They're both worthy. So.
And then this will be a really tough one. We got Max Verstappen versus your friend and old teammate Damon Hill.
It's a tough matchup for Damon.
It's not that tough. Because I have a lot of respect for Damon because he was my team. I learned a lot from him, and he worked hard. I mean, it had been years of working hard inside the team, making that car competitive. He had 2 championships that he lost against Michael. One that was obviously stolen from him because he was just put in the wall in a nasty way. And he just stood up from there, and he recovered, and he went for it. And that season that he won in '96, he spent so much energy, even mental energy, social energy, on winning the championship that at the end of the season he was just empty, which was great. So I have a lot of respect for him. But Verstappen is just a machine. He's just a machine. He never gets tired. Doesn't matter what the car can or cannot do. He will be there. He will find a way to make it competitive. Sometimes he's too aggressive, but still, we enjoy watching that. It's part of the fun.
Does he remind you of someone over there at all?
No, because he's aggressive without being dirty. It's not the same thing. Mistakes happen, and they're big mistakes, like in Spain, and it looks as if, but it was just a really big miscalculation. He saw the miss, he saw red, and it was I mean, even in Formula Ford, you shouldn't make a mistake like that. So it was a
So
real
you don't
bad
think it was
mistake.
on purpose.
No, if you wanted to do it on purpose, the 2 cars would have been in the gravel trap.
I see.
It wasn't. If you want to go through the move in detail,
Yeah.
he was very upset. He shouldn't have let, and ultimately Russell should have had a penalty for that turn 1 because he did run into him, push him off the track. So there's a clear penalty there which they didn't give, which is wrong. He should never have given the spot back to Russell. He did. Once he gave the spot back, he stepped on the gas again because there was a gap. Say, okay, now he's ahead. I will surprise him, overtake him. But what people fail to understand is when you change your way into a corner, the speed at which you arrive at, you will mess your braking, you'll mess everything up. So instead of arriving, let's say, at 200 Ks, he arrived at maybe 160 K from a quick acceleration burst. The car, when he hit the brakes, didn't dive, didn't slow down as it should have, didn't have that initial bite, and he completely misjudged the speed at which he was arriving in the corner. So he started turning way too late, ran into him, and made it look really bad, made a mess of it. He wasn't thinking clear anyway. It was a beginner's mistake, was really, really bad. But also you have all the electronics in the car with the hybrid engine that decide if you have engine brake to recharge the batteries or not. And it got all screwed up there. Joel thought, okay, what are we supposed to do here? This is not how a normal lap is going. So that played into effect as well. It made the initial reaction, he should be banned. He tried to take someone off. No, he just made a mess of a very stupid move. Mainly because he was seeing red and not thinking straight anymore.
Okay, and before we leave Hill, did you guys ever connect over? Okay, we're leaving him. Did you guys ever connect? Because you had you have a similar arc, right? Both sons of late great drivers.
Yeah, but we never connected on that subject. No, we were
What
teammates.
about music? Because he plays a little guitar.
Yeah, a little bit. Because I used to organize a 24-hour ski race in the mountains soon where I was growing up, and he came to play the show once. So he came on stage. He was with his ski boots still on, and was jamming, playing the guitar. So we talked a little bit about that. But it's more that I got into an F1. He was at the end of his career. I was at the beginning of my career, and he was more of a mentor figure. So the respect was always good, and of course, I was not happy to not have won the championship, but I was even okay with it because I knew he deserved it.
Right.
He had worked hard at it, and I knew I'd learned a lot from him, and that the following year would be my year. So it was almost okay.
Yeah.
Even if I would have preferred to have won it myself.
Sure.
But there was always that good respect in between us, and we still get along. So, which is nice.
Nice. Okay, now we got. Let's go back to you. You versus Fangio.
Never heard of him. Move Villeneuve.
No, you have to put Fangio. You won 5 championships in an era where it was so dangerous, and he survived it. Well, he had a big accident. I think he broke his neck. I don't really remember, but he did have some. But different time. Like if his team wasn't quick enough, next race he would change team and change car.
Yeah.
So he always ended up in the best cars as well, but because he was the best driver.
Yeah.
And he won 5 championships?
With like 4 different teams or something.
Yeah,
crazy
in
like
a
that.
day
Kidnapped at one point.
in a day and era where drivers died, hurt themselves, and cars broke down.
Yeah.
So it was not easy. So he's one of the greats.
All right. Okay, and now this is a fun one. PK versus Verstappen. This is a family affair.
Oh yeah, they are. It is
Father and grandfather.
father-in-law, and wow. Well, Verstappen for the same reason I explained before. Because he's always at it. Although he's only been with one team, but we've seen him good when the team was average, good when the team was good. I don't think he would change, just like Alonso. I don't think he will change his mode of working, his passion. In any team, even if he was in the worst team on the grid, he would find a way to fight and to go get that 1 point. So that wouldn't change. And when he's had enough, he'll just stop. But he'll probably keep on racing on his GT or on something else. And he lives and breathes racing. That's all that exists for him. I mean, he goes home and he goes on his online racing. He still thinks about his setup for the next race with the team. There's always something going on, and there's racing ahead of anything else, and you can see it on the track. So definitely, and he's not, and he doesn't try to stir it, like PK was doing. PK was quite mean, and sometimes with comments that about other people's wives, for example, other drivers' wives. That there's things you should keep, to yourself. So Verstappen.
Vankas, I just got back from Europe. I'm exhausted. My bags are barely unpacked, and I was needing a little taste of home, so I went down to my bodega and I got myself some Mug root beer. It's my favorite drink, and it makes me feel like I'm just a good old American boy. And it makes me feel nostalgic for the days of my past. So let me open it right here for you. Oh. Is there anything better than that sound? Oh, that's good. That is so good. There's just something about that first sip. Creamy vanilla, cold and frothy. It's like flipping your brain from race mode to rest mode. It's brought me straight back to backyard summers, BBQ, and not having to sprint through train stations with my mic in tow. We always talk about having that dog in you, right? Well, this trip definitely brought that dog out of me. I was doing crazy stuff up to Silverstone. I went to Italy. I was running around doing podcasts, breaking news left and right. And I was needing that Mug root beer to help bring that dog back in me because I was so exhausted by the end of this trip. And that's why I drink Mug root beer. It's my go-to. Just the classic Mug root beer. No nonsense, full flavor. Feels like hitting the apex on a perfect lap. It's really, it's both things. It's a qualifying lap in Monaco, and it's also the cool down lap after, baby. Because when you're drinking it, ooh, you feel like you got that dog running through you. And then afterwards, oh my God, I just feel like I won the Monaco GP. And my name is Lando Norris, and I'm going to dive into the Monaco Bay. So if you're ready to let loose, live a little unfiltered, and show the world that you got that dog in you, grab yourself a Mug root beer and hit up mugrootbeer.com/find-mug to find one near you. All right, let's move on to the other side of the board.
Your best friend.
All right,
so your best friends, Michael Schumacher
versus Alan Jones.
Well, Jones was quick, but it's also a one-hit wonder.
I think he won two.
He won championship. Well, I think it's only one. Yeah, with Williams.
Yeah.
So it wasn't consistent enough, I would say. So where Schumacher was also always quick. So you should, put him there.
Schumacher gets the nod.
Definitely.
We'll get into more Schumacher in with regards to you later as he continues to be in this. But next we got Kimi Räikkönen versus Jenson Button.
Oh, Button.
Whoa.
Definitely.
Okay.
Definitely, because he's always been quick. Kimi was quick the year he won, but not even the whole year. He just woke up at the end of the season. No, but it's true.
Well, yeah, there was two, gorillas fighting in the front.
Yeah, he got there. The other two were fighting it off, and ultimately he did some very good races when the other ones were messing each other up, and he ended up winning the championship. But if you look at his whole career, there were always the odd race where he was super quick, but was never over a full season. There was always he always had a hard time with his teammates as well. It was not consistent. Not at all, but he had this aura around him that people loved because it was more like a party animal that would also drive. So people were quite happy even if he was a half a second off the pace.
Yeah,
it doesn't matter. He's a character.
Yeah,
so he had this aura that gave him a lot of freedom. But if you just look at the real lap times year after year, it was a few odd races here and there. It wasn't full seasons.
Lack of motivation, like a bit of a hunt factor.
Yeah. Let's say you could say he was a modern James Hunt.
Right.
So he did get his championship, but also because everybody else messed it up.
Yeah, exactly. And I gotta say, have you softened on Button because you used to have some choice words for him? Have you guys become friends?
No, we got along even during the season. And what happened with Button is it's a little bit the same thing that happened between Alonso and Hamilton. It was my team. And I was heavily invested into it. And then all the politics happened. Craig, who was also my manager and advisor and close friend at the time, got kicked out of running the team, even though we were owning a quarter or a third of the team at the time. David Richards came over and he took his battle to me because I was part of the Craig group. So he signed Button, who had never won a race. And David Richards had also been complaining to the media that the team wasn't doing well because I was too expensive. So because of me, there was not enough budget in the team. But then he signed Button for more money, who had never won a race. Like, okay, well, what is that all about?
Yeah.
And then he kept going on, yeah, Button is our future, he's our champion, and this and that. So that became personal. And we were all was very good until the press conference, the launch of the car, and that's when I just came out and put him in his place, and that kind of shocked him.
Yeah.
And same thing, all the winter testing, he was just a little bit ahead of me until the last 5 minutes where, you give that little extra tenth, and that was the game suddenly I had to play, because even inside my own team, I was not the one protected, which was very, very, very odd.
What do you mean by protected? Because what does it mean when like another teammate when a teammate gets preference?
It's energy. It's social. You can feel if things go wrong, you'll be the scapegoat always, and it just becomes heavy. And then most of the media was British, and he was whining and dining them, so they went with him. And every weekend it was heavy, and even to the point where it's being said, okay, Jacques should give his salary back and go back to IndyCar just to help the team. I mean, no, sorry, I've been spending the last 3-4 years building this team. Why would I do that? So, and everybody went on, oh yeah, that's what he should do. Like, why? So it became very heavy to carry. So then you have to try and play your own games, and it's when you're on your own in that pack, it's very difficult, and it backfired. It really made me look like the nasty, angry little dwarf, in Snow White. So
is that what's happening with Verstappen on drugs, or is there something else happening or is he just the best?
What do you mean?
With like the team preference, like in the car setup, and he's the only
everybody
one that
says,
drive
it's not fair on the teammate because the car is designed for him. Hold on, nobody is stopping the teammate from developing the car. But from what we hear, often his teammates are, does Max like it? Okay, it's great. Well, no, that's not helpful. You won't get anywhere there. A driver needs to give the feedback, needs to work actively with the team and the engineers to make the car go better. And if no one else is capable of doing that next to him, then yes, it will be Max's car. But not because the team wants to damage the other driver. Just go, well, we're quick like this. This one is giving us feedback that keeps making us go faster and faster and faster. So ultimately, yes. So it's the same thing in every team. At Ferrari, it was Michael's car. Why? Because he's the one who was winning. He's the one who was working night and day to make that car move forward.
All right.
Let's move on to our next matchup here. Lauda versus Keke Rosberg.
Oh, and Button kept on being quick after. Yeah. Then he ended up winning the championship. Then he went to McLaren. When Lewis was there, and he ended up beating Lewis as well. Yeah. So the pace was there. It took him a while to get the focus, because when he got to BAR, he was more like a Raikkonen. He was partying a lot, not really caring about racing, thinking it would be easy. But then he realized, no, he had to work at it. So that happened gradually.
Gotcha.
Now I think I know where this one's going.
Lauda versus Keke Rosberg.
I'll put Lauda already.
Now is the Keke Rosberg one sour? That one must hurt.
Keke? No, he was never super fast. Did he win a race that year? I don't even remember.
But 81, I mean, that belonged to either your dad or
No, it was
Pironi.
82. No, it's 82. 81.
Wait. Oh, Pironi. Sorry, you're right.
So that was 81, yeah?
Yes.
Rosberg?
Yeah.
Did he even win a race? I'm not even sure. Maybe he just won one race at some point, but he kept doing those in third, second, other people breaking down, and he ended up winning. So it wasn't one of those special championships. And then he that's the only season where he was actually good enough to win a championship. So it's not something he carried, not to the level of a Lauda.
Right.
Lauda got into F1. He borrowed money to get into F1, got in a smaller team, made sure he made the car. He understood the car. So he always started in a car that was not good, made it into a winning car, then got into Ferrari with Clay Regazzoni.
Yeah.
Also because Regazzoni was wanting him there because he could develop the car.
Yeah.
To make Regazzoni win. But then at some point, as any selfish championship should do, he took over from Regazzoni, and he's the one who started winning and just pushed Regazzoni aside.
Right. Yeah.
Then he stepped away. Then he had his big accident.
Right. Yeah.
Came back earlier than the doctors told him to, and thanks to that, ended up winning the championship. And also, if you look at his career, in that last race where he could have lost the championship, he thought, okay, that's too dangerous. He parked the car and left.
Yeah.
And in the end, Hunt won.
Right.
So had he stayed, scored 1 point, it might have been very different.
Yeah.
So he was very hard-headed, and he stuck to what he believed. In a way, very sarcastic, so you could say funny, but not always the nicest guy. But that doesn't matter. He was a real passionate. Right. Then he stepped away, came back, and won again, and beat Prost.
Right.
Yeah.
So very impressive. Very impressive.
Let's go to get onto our Elite Eight. Schumacher versus Button here.
Sorry, where? Oh,
still up it.
Oh, he's thinking about it.
Yeah,
he's thinking about it.
No, I am
with Schumacher, dude.
No,
we remember what
happened.
It's
personal.
Yes,
I know. You should never make it personal.
No, this is your bracket. So you can make it as personal as you want.
Yeah. Because there's too many championships like the ones of Lewis where they were easy championship and some were really good, and there were always these like the one he won against Hill where he just put Hill in the wall. So there was a line he was crossing that you shouldn't. But ultimately, he was focused. He was focused, and he was always on it. So he should be ahead of Button. Yeah.
Now, what's interesting, because going into that final race in '97, you kind of almost predicted that this was going to happen. You were like in the press, kind of like you played the room properly, saying like this might happen. We've seen what he's done before. He'll crash into people when the championship's on the line. I mean, I don't know.
It was done on purpose.
Right. It wasn't on purpose.
It was done. No, my going to press that was done on purpose. The same way as I won the Indy 500 in the last 10 laps, putting pressure on Scott Goodyear to force him into a mistake to win the race. That's what I had to do with Schumacher as well.
You used his stuff against
I used his stuff to start putting pressure on him and the team and on the FIA. And before the race, the FIA came out and said, listen, if this happens, the driver will be disqualified. There'll be a huge penalty.
Right.
Had I not gone to the media, had I not started putting that pressure, that would never have happened.
Right.
And it would have been a different race. Because of that, when we got in the situation in the race, before the race, Michael's decision was to not take me out.
Yeah.
And you can see it because when I went to overtake him, he tried to avoid me at first. His reaction, he's there, so I avoid. And then the beast took over, the habits took over, and he went for it.
Yeah, we see those. You see the onboard. It's just like,
And because of that, he misjudged it. Had I not done that, then it would have been a whole different story. So that, we said before that, the politics, what happened, all these games that happen outside of the car sometimes mentally will have a huge effect, and they're part and parcels of what will happen on the racetrack.
Sometimes it feels like like George Russell seems to be able to almost do that a little bit with Max. Like Max feels like he has no weakness, but then it's his rage that sometimes is his weak. That's maybe his like fatal flaw. And I feel like maybe Lewis used that a little bit in 21, but like you got to kind of some of these guys who are like the kind of alpha bullies of the field doesn't mean you can't find a way to find a weakness within them.
Everyone has a weakness, a sore spot, and like you say, Max sometimes sees red, and goes a little bit over aggressive, and it's costly for him. And in modern racing, that means you lose points on the license, and now he's 1 point away from being banned from one race, and there's a chance that might happen, and he might race differently because of that. Yeah, Russell knows that spot, but he's not in the same game.
In terms of playing speaking correctly to the media, do you think Lando Norris could use some Jacques Villeneuve tutelage and how to play the media to your advantage instead of against you?
Yeah, it looks like he uses the media against him, but that's his way to let out his team as well, because he internalizes it a lot, and he puts himself at fault a lot, and that's not a bad thing. That's how you progress. When you look at the mirror and say, I did this wrong. I was wrong there. And sometimes there's a situation where it could be a 50-50. And even if it's not your fault, you could have avoided the situation, even if it's 100% the other driver's fault. So it's always good to put yourself in a position where, I could have done this better. I could have put myself in a situation where it wouldn't have happened. And he does that a lot. But instead of keeping it in, he blurts it out.
Yeah.
And that's his way of maybe blowing the steam. It's a necessity for him, and he comes back stronger every time he does it. The problem is with all social media now, where every TikToker is a journalist somehow.
Hey,
some of us are.
Don't paint us all with the same brush.
But it's true.
Yeah.
And a lot of the comments that come out are not founded. There's no research behind it, but it has weight. And that's a price he has to pay. The way he is now 20 years ago would have been a lot easier because it wouldn't have this big outburst as it is now. It wouldn't go as far. It would be judged as strongly as it is now. But it's his way to get it out of his system and come back stronger. Like we've seen, he came back to Monaco. He was amazing. Then we get to Barcelona and it was down. So he's got more ups and downs.
Yeah.
He's a little bit quicker than Piastri, but Piastri is just cold. He stays the same the whole time.
Yeah.
And that's both can win it, and both have their own strengths and weaknesses. So who knows which one will pay off. The difficulty for Norris is that the only driver he's fighting now for the championship is his teammate.
Right.
There's no one else in the mix. So that 1/10 advantage of speed might not help enough when there's someone that could have been in between the two. Now it's only his teammate. That makes it tougher.
Right. Vanka's summer is here, but don't let hair loss also make you sweat. Regrow hair with help from Hims. They provide access to personalized treatments so you can see thicker, fuller hair in just 3 to 6 months. You want to be feeling your best, looking your best, and sometimes those things can influence each other, so let Hims help you out. Hims offers convenient access to a range of prescriptions, hair loss treatments, and ingredients that work, including chews, oral medications, serums, and sprays. Doctor-trusted, clinically proven ingredients like finasteride and minoxidil can stop hair loss and regrow hair in as little as 3 to 6 months. Get started for the comfort of your own home. Fill out an intake form, and a medical provider will determine if treatment is right for you. If prescribed, your treatment is sent directly to you for free. The process is 100% online, which means getting started has never been more convenient. No insurance is needed. Just one low price covers everything from treatments to ongoing care. Plus, treatment options start at just $35 a month. That is cheap, baby. Come on, baby, regrow your hair, $35 a month. I like the sound of that. So start your free online visit today at hims.com/redflags. That's HIMS.com/redflags for personalized hair loss treatment options. Once again, that's hims.com/redflags. Now back to the show. All right, let's go Lauda versus Stewart here. So Jackie Stewart, one of your picks to be added to this list.
That's one I don't know.
Both got 3.
Both have 3.
Lauda was really in his era the driver that stood out, because once again it's when most drivers were killed, and he always managed to maximize what he had in his hand, the car, to feel it, to understand where it was going, to make it better. In a day where there was no data. There was very little knowledge about car setup, understanding what's happening, and it was all done by feel, and he did brilliantly. But Lauda won with the cars that were the end of that era,
right?
This first championship. Then he came back in a much more modern era,
right?
Different driving style, the turbos, and he managed to win again. So I would give the edge to Lauda.
We got,
but it's a difficult one.
Yeah, and also Stewart was one of the leaders of the charge of making the cars safer. I think he was kind of one of the people.
Yeah, he was very
even when it wasn't.
He was very active into that. He saw too many friends or teammates pass away, and that really shocked him. It never stopped him for pushing the envelope, but he was very active in making the cars safer in an era where it really needed to be safer.
Yeah.
All right, let's go down to our bottom section here. We've got Hakkinen versus Mansell.
This is a good one.
Mansell, I've always been a huge fan of Mansell. He was a lion, an unstoppable beast. I mean, he should have won more than one championship.
Yeah.
He made a few mistakes. He would see red at times as well, which is amazing because when you see him outside of the car, he's so soft and so calm, and you wonder where does the blood flow once he starts racing, because he's the other extreme when he gets in the race car.
Yeah.
He puts his helmet on and he's unstoppable. And he was driving with strength.
Yeah.
That you could tell. He was a force to be reckoned with. Some of the moves he made, I remember the one he did in Mexico around Berger on the outside of the last corner. I was watching TV and my eyes were right up like, oh, okay, that took guts. That really, and even Berger at the end, he backed out and he got off the car like, oh, wow, okay. we're not in the same playing field. There's he really wants to win,
Also, in the
much
United
more than
States,
me.
He also pushed the car when it doesn't
And he was
work.
always, you saw him when he drove at Ferrari, when he drove at Williams. So he was always, like Alonso, always managing to push him. But he wasn't very good when there were political games.
Right.
Yes.
So Piquet could get in his head.
Yes.
Piquet ran him around.
Oh, and that really got
Yeah.
to him. That was his main weakness, and he was always whining. So he would get out of the car, and it's as if he had run a marathon, and it was like, oh my God, I'm hurting here. But that was his way of getting it out of his system.
Yeah.
And then when he moved to IndyCar, he was that first season.
Yes.
He was really wanting that championship, really wanting the Indy 500. He was driving like you shouldn't drive on these ovals.
Yeah.
It was like wow, and it was super impressive.
Yeah.
So that's why I would give him the edge.
Prost showed up at Williams. He's like, I'm not doing this again.
Exactly.
I've been down this road before. All right, great. We got another Rosberg on the roll now. Nico versus Mario Andretti.
Both have won. Andretti.
Well,
is
Andretti is an easy pick.
one- Okay.
I mean, he won the Daytona 500. He won the Indy 500. He won F1. He won in his 50s in IndyCar. He still won a race in his 50s. I don't remember. So, and he still drives a race car for demos.
Yeah.
And he's unstoppable. There's a race in IndyCar, which one of the most physical race. They had to take him out of the. He had broken his ribs on a motorbike before the race, so he just taped himself and won the race.
Yeah.
Wow.
And I don't think you would see that with modern drivers.
Definitely not.
That's hard.
I don't know.
That's hard to beat.
Lance Stroll. Let's see.
Coming back
He's
up
coming
the
back
Pacific.
with
Hey,
his-
with pain in his wrist.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the same.
Come on, a little bit of Canadian grit.
Um,
People sleep on him.
so Andretti and then he refused coming to F1 back in the early days. He did a few races because IndyCar was better in his mind, and so he also made some tough choice. Much more complete. Rosberg, the minute he won, you could see he was completely spent, and he won mentally over because he played the game. He played the political game. He was quick in that season against Lewis, but Lewis never saw it coming, so we didn't see the best Lewis. And the minute he won, he gave up.
Yeah.
So you could tell that he had no passion for racing. And every time I see him, he doesn't miss racing. He really doesn't care about racing. All he was wanting to do was win a championship like his dad and then move on.
Yeah.
Get the monkey off his back, you think?
Yeah.
Yeah, so something strange. And he did manage to win a championship, but then he didn't want it anymore. Didn't want to hold the steering wheel anymore.
Wow.
Yeah.
What do you think about like something like that? Because it's like you came from a racing family. Something that you seem to value with these guys is like they stayed with it. They cared. They had that challenge throughout. And then you look at a guy like Rosberg who kind of like got to the top of the mountain and was like, I'm done with this. Like, where do you kind of put those in your mind?
I have a hard time with this because you wonder why have you been racing anyway? Why did you race in the first place if you never had the passion? And what's sad is even without that passion, you can still once in a while have a winner, and that just goes against my instinct, against what the roots of racing. But it happened. There's been a few, but oftentimes it's only after winning that you realize why were you doing it, and then you think, oh, actually, I don't like racing that much. I don't like spending all my life on the road and so on. So it's better to stop at that point, but it's a bit sad.
Well, now we got two guys who did not suffer from that. We've got Senna and Clark.
This is a tough matchup.
Ayrton Senna, Jim Clark.
No, Senna, because Senna, when he got into F1, he got into Prost team.
Right.
It was already Prost team, and it was a hard fight in between the two. It was never clear which one would win. They were both completely different, but they both were managing to get a car that worked for both of them, and they would share the wins. And he kept at it, kept going. So he was a special racer, yes.
Okay.
All right.
Clark was special as well, but and I don't know.
I mean,
That's
he died in an F2 race, which he didn't even need.
But they were racing all kind of things. They were racing endurance. They were racing races that were off championship. But I have a vivid memory of Senna.
Of course.
Yeah. All right, let's get to our 8.
You should have kept this pairing a bit later on in the race. That's too early.
Yeah.
It's like a first and second seed in tennis, fighting it off.
I know.
It was
16th.
hard to put this thing together.
Yeah.
Okay, we got Fittipaldi versus Mansell. This is Fittipaldi, another one of your picks.
Well, Fittipaldi, a little bit like Lauda, like Piquet, always raced through different eras of F1. Won in F1, then won the Indy 500. Later on in his life, I even raced against him. And I raced against Mario as well. Actually, my first season in IndyCar was against Mario, against Mansell, against Fittipaldi, which was crazy.
Back when
that
crossover, we need to bring that back.
That doesn't happen often in a career to race against guys that have achieved so much in racing that you saw growing up.
Right.
And he still won. Actually, that year in '96, he still won a race in IndyCar. After all those years, he was still the same racer, working on setups, passionate, and he carried on racing in IndyCar afterwards until I think he broke his neck. Then he had to take a step back. But amazing racer through different kind of series, different kind of eras. So a very complete driver.
So you give the nod to Fittipaldi.
Yes.
All right.
Well, he got scared off by Ronnie Peterson. I mean, this is another guy that knew how to pick the right team at the right time too. Fittipaldi, wouldn't you say?
Yes, but he always managed to, if the car wasn't quick enough, he would work on it, and he would get it to the point where he could actually end up winning. He found a way to win, and he always that passionate work ethic about him.
Yeah.
All right, now we get Andretti versus Senna.
I would say Andretti was more complete. He won the Indy 500, the Daytona. He won anything he put his hand on. He won.
Yeah.
Anything, any kind of car on dirt, on it didn't matter what it was. Senna was stuck to F1. Maybe he would have raced something else, but we will never know.
Yeah.
So there is a chance that Senna would have gone to the Indy 500 and won it. Who knows? But we didn't get to see it.
There's such a Senna's lauded in this way. Obviously.
Well, it's the James Dean effect, also.
Right.
When you're passed at the top of your racing career, you're left with what could have been,
right?
And that's always tough. And yes, the potential for him of becoming the greatest was there.
He also felt like he had he was like kind of the embodiment of what people felt like a racer.
The platonic idea.
There was passion. There was passion, and he was moving the mass.
Right.
Yeah.
You could see it in Brazil. And he was definitely, he was as a level on his craft that was not only in racing, was also outside of the craft of the racetrack, and people were following him. So he had that charisma.
Yeah.
Okay, we've got our Elite Eight here. We got Schumacher, Lauda, Alonso, Graham Hill, Fangio, Verstappen, Fittipaldi, Andretti. Let's start with Alonso versus Graham Hill.
I will put Alonso because I've seen him race year after year, and he never gives up. He's 44 now. He's been racing for how many years, and he's still hungry. He's still going for it as if it was his first season in F1. Hill, we just don't know. We don't know what could have been. He tried to build his team, then he went downhill there. So you have to give the nudge to Alonso as a very complete driver.
I mean, you saw Alonso try the Indy 500 though, and it wasn't pretty.
Well, he was racing at the front and the engine blew. Maybe he overdrove it. So you'll have to stick it to F1 terms there, and Alonso is just keeping it up there all the time.
For Alonso. Okay, this is a fun one. Fangio versus Verstappen. The old school versus the new school.
I will put Verstappen because we haven't seen the end of it. And it's hard to judge, the 50s.
Yeah.
Right.
Because it's only what you read. And there's an aura of how amazing he was. You see the results, but we weren't there. So it's very difficult to really put a point on it and really understand how great it was or not. The era were too different. So it's much easier to judge the modern era there, and Verstappen really stands out.
It's interesting, though, because Fangio was a mechanic. He worked on cars. He didn't even get into F1 until he was like 40. And when you read about him, you read about how he was able to maintain the car's integrity in a time when reliability was tough. Is that like a lost art? Like do drivers know less about how the car works?
Only few, like Verstappen knows. That's why he keeps developing the car. Alonso understands it as well, but Alonso is old school. Verstappen was raised old school by his dad,
right?
So that probably helps in this era. But if you look at most modern drivers, they're almost being told how to drive. Look at the data and, you should brake later. Okay, thanks. But don't really have a concept of what's happening with the car, of what they could do to make it feel either more comfortable, more natural, or faster, which is detrimental because there's less and less drivers that can actually understand that. Now, I don't know if Verstappen could actually go in a car and physically work on it, not on the modern ones. They're too complicated.
Yeah. Right.
But on a kart, he could. So he understands the mechanical part of it. And that's why he can make the difference. But this art of, like Monaco was never a race of overtaking, but a race of attrition. And the drivers who could massage their car and be fast at the same time would win. Like you just said, Fangio or Stewart was like that. And other drivers were just bullies in their car, and they would just destroy everything to be quick. And that was an art, how to be smoothly quick. That's disappeared, obviously.
Yeah. There was a mechanic for Clark at Lotus, and he said you could put all of their parts together, all the different drivers' parts, and he could always tell which ones were, like, he could tell Clark's gearbox because it just looked better.
Yeah, Clark was very competitive when they went with the half-size engine, with the 1.5 liter engine, which had half the horsepower, where you really had to be smooth.
Yeah.
There he made a huge difference. That's why he was good at Indy as well, because he was very smooth and gentle with the car. From what I read, obviously.
Yes. All right, Verstappen gets the nod. Let's go up to our top here. We got Schumacher against Lauda.
I would put Lauda. Same thing for the way he worked into his position. And he made sure that he's the one that the team had to rely on at some point because he was developing the car. He came back after his crash. He was very decisive in that. And he did not have the protection of the team. And when he went to McLaren, it was Prost's team, and he beat him, just coming back. So I would give him the nod for that.
So you don't buy that Schumacher helped drive that Ferrari team forward? All those hours he spent?
Oh, yes, he did. But also a lot of races he would not have won. The teammate was there to help him win, which is very different.
Okay.
That was a contractual thing.
That was the order of things back.
So maybe Schumacher's agent is the best.
He's one of the greatest, obviously, but amongst the greatest, you do have to pick. There's some differences.
All right, and then we got old school. I love this. 100% ready.
That's hard. I will put Andretti because he's got the Daytona under his belt. And he tried his hand at the 24 hours as well. So he's got a little advantage over Fittipaldi.
Yeah. Okay, we got our
but that's not easy. They're from the same era as well. So it's easy to compare them.
Yeah.
We've got our final four. All right. These guys like each other in the paddock. Both still in there. Fernando Alonso versus Max Verstappen.
Poof. They're very similar.
They're very similar.
Very similar. I would still put Alonso ahead now because of how long he's been at it. Like if Verstappen can be like this for 20 years, fine.
Right. So you don't hold the two championships to the four against.
No, you don't count the amount of championship because if you look at Verstappen, the first championship was a hard one.
Yeah.
That one he won it, but the next three.
Yeah,
they were his.
Yeah,
this last one wasn't. I mean,
it was his. It was his because they had a big advantage. They had a big advantage, and McLaren did not help Norris either. So they did not make it difficult for Verstappen. So it was his.
Okay.
If he ended up winning it this year, okay, that would then put him ahead of Alonso. But the thing is, Alonso has been at it. Yeah. And he won the 24 hours, and he won Le Mans as well. And he won Le Mans. We talk again in 5 or 10 years. It will be Verstappen because Verstappen will win Le Mans or will win the 24 hours of Nürburgring. He will do other things, but it's still early in his career. So you have to compare the whole.
In terms of F1, though, do you actually think Verstappen's going to stick around like Alonso? Because sometimes he's like, maybe I'll just.
You know what? A lot of and I went through this where you think, I've had enough. This is boring.
Yeah.
Then you're home for 6 months and you realize that okay, no, life is boring without
Right.
F1. And racing is great, but F1 is the pinnacle.
Yeah.
And sometimes you need a little bit of a holiday. And you need to miss it to understand how amazing
Yeah.
it is. But I have a feeling that Verstappen is very frustrated with modern F1.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, it feels like it. I mean,
And he does have fun racing his other things. So,
Yeah.
I don't know. As long as he can win championships, he will try and go for the records.
Yeah.
But then maybe he'll start thinking, okay, I can do something else and still enjoy myself, still love my craft,
right.
which
Doesn't
is
feel like
more
he'll
than
ever
just
leave
F1.
racing. I just don't know if the circus of F1 is something that he really wants to do forever.
Well, look, Alonso did that.
Right.
Right.
He went away, and
he
then
did
you
do
realize,
that.
like, okay, that's
Yeah.
not that's not as much fun.
Maybe
Yeah.
I don't mind the circus, actually.
Yeah, actually, Dakar is maybe not as great as F1.
Yeah.
No, but same thing. When F1 stopped for me, the apartment was like, okay, this is heavy. It's good. It's done. But that feeling didn't last very long.
Yeah.
All right. To face Alonso in the final, we got Lauda and Andretti.
Yeah. That's very, very, very difficult. Andretti has more under his belt. He's a more complete driver. Lauda has F1. Andretti has everything.
Wow. Yeah. This is crazy.
This is amazing.
Well,
I did not expect these two finalists. It's
Mario Andretti
This is-
versus
it's a
Fernando
fun-
Alonso
Yeah.
for the king of not just F1, of racing.
of racing.
I'll have to keep going the same way, Andretti, because he has everything.
Wow.
Yeah.
He was he was the last.
Who would have
going,
expected
and
that?
This is
Friend
Yeah.
of the pod.
wow,
Yeah.
unbelievable.
Yeah, no,
Wow,
that's
we have our victor.
So to all the F1 fans, I mean, how hard is winning the Indy 500 for those who don't? Like, you compare, because winning Monaco, winning Indy 500, what's like, rank it. Like, what does it take?
Indy is tough because it's super risky. It's one of the races that is still dangerous. You're on the edge for a long time. The cars are very similar as well. You don't have it's not like Monaco where you're either in one of the top 2 or 3 teams, you put it on pole and you probably won the race. That's a long race. A lot can happen. Mistakes in pit stops. The car change. You adapt your setup slightly with tire pressures, front wing during the whole race to make sure that you have a car you can fight with at the end of the race. And to win, you need a car that's on the edge. You can't have a comfortable car. You need a car that will be risk-taking every corner. And then you have to play the strategy game. When to push, when not to push, when to put the other driver under pressure. It's a very tough race to win.
So I guess Andretti's the winner. I guess speak to his toolkit, and then how complete he was, and like how he probably had all the tools you need as a driver. I would say, just tell me why you think he's the best.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, now that he's there, I can think. I would not have put him. Just look
Yeah.
at the ball. No, it will be one.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Look how long he's raced. He was races in the 60s. And he finished racing when in the late 90s?
Yeah, late 90s.
Late
yeah.
90s. And he still went for the Indy in the 2000 and had a massive crash. And his son told him, hey, you're done.
Right, this is it.
Too bad. It would have been 3 generations
Yeah.
on the track at the
Yeah.
same time.
Wow.
And he was still quick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was still maddeningly quick. It's the fact that he could win in anything.
Mm.
I mean, you win the Daytona 500. That's different. He won races on the dirt.
Right.
The Indy 500, when it was stupidly dangerous back then. And he was also running at the front in the 90s, in the 70s.
Yeah.
He ended up winning in F1. He won races. He went back just to do a race or two. In 82 for Ferrari, got on a podium
Right.
out of the blue. So it didn't matter where he was. You would put him in a car and he would find a way to be quick. Always.
Why are some drivers like incredible in whatever you put them in, and then there's a driver like Vettel or Ricardo, or they're just good for an era, or they're just good for a regulation set, or they're just good on one team?
Because they are pure racers. They don't have blood. They have little race cars running around their system.
Yeah.
You can't explain it. They were born to be that. And it could have been other sports. It could have been skiing. It could have been on a motorbike. It's the same mindset. It's the same way of approaching your work ethic and race weekend, pushing the limit, finding ways to be quicker than the opposition. Not just with your driving. Okay, you have a medium underneath you. You have a car. You have a motorbike. You have skis. You have something. what can I do to make that medium more competitive so I can be more competitive?
Right.
Yeah.
And you have to find tricks. You work around it. You have to be one with your medium. You have to imagine. You close your eyes, and you can actually what the suspension is doing. Then you think, oh, that's why I cannot turn like. That's why I cannot react this way because this is happening. If I change this, then maybe I could drive in this other way, which would go faster. Even if on paper that change is worse, it will talk better to me, and I will be able to use it better. I will be able to use it to its limit. And oftentimes now you have a car on paper. Wow, you can't beat that car. That's amazing. But a driver can't drive it.
Yeah.
So it becomes a slow car. Maybe a robot could drive it super fast, but not a human. So those special drivers live and breathe competition.
Do you think that you're born into? Do you think that's like innate in people? You know, we talked earlier about Nico Rosberg. We talked about the Hunts, the kind of guys who kind of got there, didn't necessarily care the whole time. I mean, you know, I don't know if you're hearing in the background. We've been hearing there's a baby in the room. You know, do you feel like
my baby,
your baby, your young daughter's in the room? Do you feel like, you know, that's something that, you know, you were born into? I mean, you come from this racing lineage. Do you feel like this is just kind of something innate in some of these guys?
It's hard to say because if you take Mario Lauda, they weren't born into it,
right?
But they went for it. There's something. First of all, they're all alphas.
Yeah,
right.
I mean, it's obligatory because you want to always be the best. And if you don't win, you want to find a way to be better. But you only get better when someone beats you. If you're driving on your own, I'm quick. And then someone arrives and 0.2 quicker than you. I thought I was quick.
Right.
What can I do? And you didn't think you could go any faster. You thought you had reached your limit. And suddenly something happens in your brain and it clicks. And you find new solutions. And you don't rest until you find a way to get to that next level. It's a big adrenaline rush. You're exhausted after, but you need that. You need to climb that next mountain that's that 1 meter taller than the previous one you just climbed. And it's inside you. It's not just driving. It's who you are. And a lot of it is you're born like this, obviously, but it's also your upbringing. What images do you have in life? What you should be as a person, as a human being. And it relates really well to racing if you want to perform and win. And now we relate to it a lot. Why? Because it's the biggest sport in the world. There's so much money involved. It's jet set. So we all think, oh, wow, he was born into racing. It's amazing. But there's other sports that have the exact same mindset, but that don't have the same media attention. But it's exactly the same mindset. And any of these drivers could have been number ones in motorbikes, number one on any of these sports where you're on your own and there's some kind of movement flowing and a medium under your feet, under your bum.
Right, because you were a late starter. It was you skiing that gave you what I read from your book.
But I knew I was going to go racing anyway. So skiing was just a side project until I would get in a racetrack.
Yeah.
But everything I learned on skis helped me in cars, helped me to feel a car, to work on a car, helped me with corners, helped me to arc corners on an oval, because that's what you do in skiing, or helped me to also sacrifice a corner to be quicker in the next one, which most drivers that come from karting don't learn, and a lot of them can't comprehend and will never move towards that. So I found skiing, and also you have to build speed without an engine,
right?
Which is very different. I found that very useful. And also to drive in the rain when you don't see anything. Skiing can be very good for that.
Yeah.
Damon Hill came from motorbikes. And that really helped him also in setting a car up.
So it's the I mean, yeah, I think I'm hearing you and trying to maybe reflecting back what I'm hearing from you is kind of just, it's about the mentality. It's about the kind of like the headspace, the thing that you laud and respect among these great champions, all of whom deserve their flowers. The thing that you
but hold on, there's one thing I just remembered is, had I been born in a family that didn't have a dad racer, I might never have gone into racing because I might never have realized how amazing it was.
Sure.
But you think you would have always had a killer instinct? Because
because that was the attitude. Even my grandfather was like that. That was the attitude in the family. And my dad, anything he did, didn't have to be on a racetrack. It was the same. Right. Whether he was in his chopper in his pickup truck, he would do these things, these stupid thing with me next to him, just so he could point the finger at his friend, like, haha, you see, you couldn't do it, but I did. So this kind of pride is the same thing that you then bring into racing. So I was brought up that way anyway. So I might not have ended up racing cars, but that attitude would have been present in me anyway.
We've interviewed Andretti a couple times, once on the internet, and one time we interviewed him at the Indy 500. And I will say, we were waiting for him. We had the whole thing set up, and then screaming around a corner in a golf cart, tires screeching. Andretti, aged, I don't know what, 80-something, comes barreling around the corner, screeches the car to a halt. Everyone flocked to him.
On a dime before the crowd. Like, it was crazy.
It was. We were pretty blown away. Yeah. So he is our Jacques Villeneuve's winner. Mario Andretti, you heard it here first. Where else you getting this? This guy, he's the man.
Win an Indy 500, then talk to him.
Yeah, that's right.
Win an Indy 500, then talk to him.
We end this podcast with a goodbye Vankas in honor of our friend Gunter Steiner. Would you honor us and the Vanka Nation with a goodbye Vankas?
Goodbye, Vangas.
Yes!
Thank you.
Vankas! And Vankas, this episode would not be possible if it wasn't for our daddies of the pod. So we gotta thank Kayla, Robin, Jordan Texera, Jay Lingle, Spencer Grieve, Javier Mera, Sheila Valeri, Chandler, Ali Santana, Carla Juarlo, Kimberly Whalen, Alance of My Face 69, Donya Dana, Deadbeat Daddy Muhammad, Jimmy, Kimmy, sponsored by Mommy of the Pod, Hollister 584, Delusional Science Fan, Kat, Future Dog Toward Dion, Steph Grossi, JB Fresh, Laura, Emily Gillenwater, Cody Hull is my F1 Daddy, Branch W, Keep Up the Signs Hate, Hunter Scruggs, Sal Manella Mozzarella, I'm a Leclerc fan, and yes, it hurts, Jay Kess, George Russell is Evil Peter Parker from Spider-Man 3, Matt Edwards is always right, I wish I was Max and Danny's love child, Delaney Andrews, Henry Caskey, Miles Lewis Alexander, The Real Toto Wolf, Maggie B, Kaylee Breyer, Eve the Y, Aaron Fiver, Devin, a.k.a. The Future, Dr. Sullivan's PA, Courtney Frazier, Yuki Sonoda's other mother, Jenny is the reason I am a daddy, Megan, Aaron, Pineapple the Y, Matt has a secret boner for Carlos Sainz. Unfortunately, it's Gary. Carolina, my name is AJ, and fuck the HOA. K-Man can fuck smash my door any day, the official F1 race program, and its executive editor, Sarah. I got tickled by the Tifosi. Hey, Jet, good luck out there. Allison Sane, Zhuge, F1 Dude Company, Trent Slickman, Code Brown, Sonoda, Jerome Ferreira, Colapinto is a fraud. Aaron, Shahid, Jeans Rockstar, Chohoon, Shake and Bake, Gotta Lick My Balls. Stay Fierce, Charlotte Claire, Truth Bringer. Mama Burns, Arthur Leclerc is hotter. Carlos signs, nice. And our newest daddy, OP Goblin. Honorary daddy of the pod this week, every week, Nicole Piastri. If you want to become a daddy of the pod, go to patreon.com/TRFpod and become our benefactor today. Patreon's been cooking, baby. You want to be on it because that's where you get all the good stuff. So go over there and join us on the page.